weaving for me as a medium is it's my medium for storytelling. I think that when I first started weaving, I was really young. I was 24, and before that I was painting, and I was doing probably would be called abstract expressionism. I was doing also some photography, but nothing was really very much about identity. It was all kind of like emotionally driven. When I was so lucky to get to go to New York to go to grad school, and it came down to like, what was I going to make my art about? I went to the landscapes of the reservation, and then the Hollywood imagery, which was directly relating to what I was going through, and that transition of my early 20s, and questions about identity and questions about stereotyping. So I think that when I'm thinking about my practice and my process, the stories that I'm telling, whether it's Choctaw history or Chitimacha history, it's stories about removal, it's stories about genocide. And because it's referring so much to land and to landscape, the maps for me are really relevant. There's a lot of work that goes into one piece and kind of deciphering all of these different histories. And at the end, it's information to be shared with a viewer. And I do that in my weaving, in my studio, or outside in nature, and to move through, to process the trauma or to process the story. And that, I think, is what a lot of these images behind me are referring to, being connected to nature. Maybe there is a disconnect in our day-to-day lives, and how can we be better listeners of nature? With my weaving practice, I'm thinking about, this might sound like I'm thinking about so many different things, because I think there is so much that happens when I'm weaving that I'm thinking about, that I'm processing. For contemporary Native artists, when we're working in this space, in our own studio spaces or in our community spaces, we're working to secure this Indigenous future over here, but while acknowledging that there is a past and there is a history. The first time I visited the Montclair Art Museum was to see the Chitimacha baskets. That's when I saw the 6 nesting baskets and then 2 additional baskets. That experience for me was very emotional, and I think that at Montclair, at the museum that day, everyone was really understanding of that. So it made my experience with the baskets it was okay for me to feel what I was feeling. It was okay for me to experience the baskets in the most real, honest way. For me, being an artist is being a thinker, and the art then becomes something that is shared. So it's like a thought, an idea is shared, a political statement, information, knowledge. These are all the choices of the artist. So yeah, I'm thinking about it critically. I think that's my job. Going back to the weaving and the purpose of the weaving, to me, that story is very much there's the past and there's the present right now, and then let's secure the future. And so translating that story into my art is exactly what I Want to Hold You Longer is about.